Okay, well, it's 12:30, so we'll get started. Thank you all for coming. You'll see that we're here with Mary Mortimer, Compound Gallery in Oakland, California. Hi, Mary. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm going to quickly mute everyone. Except for Mary, hopefully. So now nope, that was a fail. Okay, well, Mary, will you unmute yourself, please? So Mary Mortimer is a sculptor and printmaker, and she's gonna give us a tour of both her studio space and a little bit about the Compound Gallery in general. So thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Sarah. So if you hear any noise in the background, this is a working shared studio space, and there are some people working here. Everyone is masked and very safe, but there may be a sound. They know that I'm in here doing this in my studio, which is curtained off, but if you hear something, you know, that's what's going on. Don't be alarmed. I'm going to share my screen now. And I'm just going to do it this way because I think that's going to work the best. So just going to close that down. So I work out of the Compound Gallery and Studios in Oakland, California. It's sunny today. We're on the border of Emeryville, and this is an outside shot of our gallery space. Our gallery space is a really vibrant, wonderful place when we can use it, and it's not under COVID quarantine. It is open now. We do have a show up with David Fullerton, and the gallery is open, but we are being very safe. So you have to come in with a mask, and we did not get to have an opening for the show. And it is the first show that we've opened the gallery for since COVID. We're on 65th Street off of San Pablo Avenue. Come visit us. So this is the interior space in the main building. We have two buildings. This is the space where my studio is. My studio is behind the curtains on the left, not the curtains that you see on the left, but the next bank of curtains. There are 2 people per curtain studio in some studios, and some, there is 1 artist in their own studio. We have about a dozen presses. We have printing presses for letterpress, and then we have a couple of more etching presses. We have platen presses, and we have flatbed presses. We have a beautiful fountain. It's just a gorgeous space. So this is a close-up of the print area, which is right outside of my studio. And I generally use the flatbed presses, but we have a couple of platen press, standing platen presses, and some tabletop platen presses that are used for classes and also used by any studio artists who want to use them and know how to use them. Sorry, I don't know why this is giving me trouble. We acquired this challenge press from the Academy of Art in San Francisco, and it did not have a crank, so Matt Reynoso put a crank on it. Matt and Lena Reynoso started the Compound Gallery about 12 years ago. They're amazing people. They are both studio artists as well. They run the gallery, and they run all of the spaces here and acquire all of this equipment for us, and they work in the studio as well. We have a paper binding station for book binding. We don't have anything like the center for the book, but we can make books here. And we have a couple of corner rounders here. This is a clean area for people to come and do all things paper. And cutting area, cutting boards, book presses, tape. This is all communal, available to any artists who are here. And I use this quite a bit. There are flat files on the right. Some people are locker artists, and so they keep their work in flat files if they're doing this sort of work. So if you go through the curtains into my studio, this is what you'll see. I share my studio space with another artist, Amy Burrick, who is a risograph zine maker, and she teaches riso classes here as well. So she's a great studio mate, but she's to the left of what you're seeing right now, and this is where I'm sitting right now. I have one small type cabinet of wood type, a really adorable little Hamilton cabinet that I love. And I have this kind of crazy galley cabinet that I got from Joel at Dependable Letterpress when he moved his shop. And he was just really great and gave it to me. And that's where I keep some of my metal type. I would love to have more metal type. I don't really have room for it, as you can tell, but the galley cabinet's really handy. This is just a small selection of some of my small selection of wood type, some Hamilton, and these cowboy boot cuts are from a friend of mine who owns a cowboy boot company in El Paso, Texas. They are cowboy boot cuts for catalogs from whenever they're from, their vintage. Some more type. So I'm going to go into some projects now. So the Agitprop project is something that Matt and Lena hatched here for as a residency at first, and then also for studio artists to use as a way to say what's on their mind in the way of social justice. The residency was a situation where you made 100 prints and you had to give them away for free. The paper, the ink, and the presses were all supplied by the Compound Gallery. And if studio artists want to do Agitprop posters, those resources are available to them as well. We've put every Agitprop poster that we've done on this wall. It's a kind of wonderful collection. So I was at the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum in 2016 in November, a week before the election, and I took a picture of this typeset old voting card. And a week later, I started printing these prints because the election results were not exactly what I had hoped for. They're kind of self-explanatory. This is the setting for the Protect print, 2 layers. The first layer I did in red. I also did a version in blue. And then the second layer, I did the opposite color. These are 11 by 17 inches. So while these were part of Agitprop, I actually did sell these. There are still some for sale, but for the most part, I've sold most of them. And then basically we would all kind of get together in the studio. If someone had an idea for an Agitprop poster and needed someone to be their printer's devil, we would find someone to help us. I did these cards as people were calling for postcards to send to their congresspeople and such, having to do with different issues that they felt strongly about. All of these are hand inked and they are printed quickly and not terribly fussy about kerning, as you may see. This was part of Agitprop. I had people help me print these. We printed these on that challenge press, which is the only press that we have that is a flatbed press that has true registration. It's a nice press. It's a big old thing, but it works really well. I printed these postcards with feelings around gun control, and my feelings are very strong about gun control. School shootings need to stop. I also feel very strongly about trans rights. So I printed these having to do with this issue. And we did not have any hashtags. You may notice that the hashtag is backwards. So we laser cut some hashtags in the Fabrifaction studio next door, which is also part of the compound. And we made them all backwards. So we just decided to go with it. I didn't reprint it, so they all have a funny hashtag. So the next project is the Compound Art Box. This is an old magazine box, a newspaper box, and it has been repurposed. It was originally repurposed for some art news brochures we were doing here, and it's kind of become a community box and a barter box and a community conversation box. It sits outside on 65th Street and it is open to the public. I printed these Do Not Panic cards around mid-March before we knew what we were in for. And I thought some people were starting to get concerned, and I said, don't panic, let's not panic, do not panic. Let's see what happens. So what happened was a month of quarantine before I could come back into the studio and print and really feel like we knew what we were doing here to keep things safe. We only allow studio artists in right now, and we need to wash our hands and wear masks in public spaces. If you're in your own studio, you have more freedom. I printed Wave to Strangers. This was my first print after coming back into the studio. I felt like we were communicating with people we didn't know in a way. All of a sudden, it seemed like there was this open emotion around, hey, you know, we can't do all the things we usually do, but we're here and we're gonna get through this together. Coffee, Plants, and Liquor I printed for my friend Heather, who shares my plant obsession. We felt like we were going to need a lot more houseplants through all this, and continued to amass houseplants during quarantine, as well as coffee and liquor. These were free in the art box. All of these were given away. So I decided to go through some older prints and get rid of some things. I have a lot of prints in my studio, and I themed this around plants and seeds and food. And lo and behold, right after that, somebody decided to leave some organic cherry tomato starts, which was awesome. So it really has been this great exchange of ideas and actual things. Someone left some rubber stamps and origami paper. I did start printing around the issue of Black Lives Matter, around the issue of all Black Lives Mattering, and just, you know, contributing to this movement. As I did that, so did Taya Sizemore. We've become really good friends through this Compound Art Box and through all of this movement and communicating with one another. It's been really terrific. Greg Crawford is another artist here at the compound. He left some prints in there. So basically you go, you take a print, you leave a print, you take a print, you just leave a print, whatever moves you. I printed these on July 4th and put those in the box. I think there are still some out there. More prints from Taya. And my most recent print is trying to rebrand wearing a mask as being sexy. You look great in your mask, wash your hands, be safe. We're gonna get through this. So these are just some of the most recent prints I've been working on. I've been doing song lyrics. I've been doing what makes me happy and what I hope will make some other people happy in a particularly tough time. And Prince makes me happy. David Bowie makes me happy. Dancing makes me happy. Blondie makes me happy. Dreaming makes me happy. Anyway, these are the Blondie print was the most recent. I just printed that last weekend. And so after that, I'd just like to give a shout out to some of the people who really have helped me do what I do and feel able to do what I do and to continue challenging myself and learning. Amos Kennedy, Kevin Bradley, Selene Aubrey at Hatch Show Print. And this is me at the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum, one of my favorite places on the planet. I was given this case of beautiful French Clarendon type from Dave Peat, who is just a type hero in our world. And I use this type more than any other type that I own. I love it, and it's terrific. Our community gives, our community is amazing. The printing community grows, it's strong. I learned my first classes were at San Francisco Center for the Book. I continue to work with Chad on Roadworks, and I look forward to lots and lots of years of printing fun and happiness. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. There you are.
Here I am.
We've had a couple of questions come in, and I encourage everyone else to send them in. Now's the time. Shelley just wanted to make a comment that she thinks your postcards are such a great, impactful idea to send things to politicians. And Sarah wants to know if you ever sell any of the pieces that you put in the art box, that she'd love to purchase some of your recent work, but she hasn't seen it on your website. But maybe she's missing it.
It's not there yet. So some of it isn't there yet. So a lot of people have contacted me through Instagram. My Instagram handle is Mary Mortimer Studio. And you can always shoot me a message there, and we can connect that way. My website also has a contact page, and if you send me a message through that, it goes to my email. And I'll admit, I have not gotten my website together for sales. I sell here at the compound in, we have an art shop in the front, and I have a flat file there where I sell things, but I need to get on it. If you see it, I probably have a copy of it, and it is probably for sale. Some of the things that some of the agitprop stuff I don't have anymore. I might have one copy that I'm holding on to. But if I get enough people interested, I may print it again. That's the great thing about printing.
Shelley wants to know if you'd talk a little bit more about the Hamilton Museum, where it is.
Talk all day long about the Hamilton Museum. It is one of my favorite places. Friday mornings, there is a ham hang, a Hamilton hang. If you go to, if you search and go to their website, the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, Hamilton was the world's largest maker of wood type. And they are no longer in production, although they are in very small production, and they do demos, they do tours, they do classes, and every year they do the Hamilton Ways Goose in November, which is a meeting of printers. They are doing it online this year, and registration is open. So I would recommend going to their website, registering. It is a great deal because you save on having to travel there. There are great people giving classes. Stephanie Carpenter and Jim Moran are fantastic people, really kind. Honestly, I've done other art things, and I've done a lot of different jobs in my day. the printing community is the most open, warm, inviting group of people I've ever met. It's pretty amazing. And the people at Hamilton are so much that, you know, they're that like, what is it, Midwest nice? So yeah, and shoot me a message if you can't seem to find anything. I'll direct you to them.
Great. Mary, earlier you were showing me some projects you were working on with knitting. I was wondering if you would show those.
So I've learned to do stranded knitting. I'm going to go to speaker view on my screen so I can kind of see what I'm showing you. So, you know, I've started into letterpress coming from doing a lot of other things. I've been a painter, I've been a sculptor, and I continue to do 3D things from time to time. Right now I've been doing a lot of printing, but I did a show in Livingston, Montana a couple of years ago that was based on really working with the idea of my family history and my grandmother and her sisters and handcraft, and how handcraft, you know, you put your love into it and you work out things through it at the same time. And so I now know how to knit this, but at the time I decided I'm going to knit some stuff and I'm going to letterpress print on it. Next up in line is I will actually do some stranded knitting with words in it. So that will kind of marry the two in a different technique, in the real technique. So I had knit these and printed on them. So these are printed with wood type on actual knitting, and I hung these in the gallery.
What's the yarn? Does it matter? Will all yarn take ink?
This is I think it's a linen yarn. It's a Japanese yarn, and it's kind of crunchy. It's also, you know, quite thin, but I think it might be a linen and cotton. Yeah, it's not very fuzzy. So, you know, it's really clean. You know, what do you want to put on your press? What do you want to put on your type? You need to be careful because you really don't want to damage your type. But I played around with it. And some of the thing of having these really manual presses is hand inking. I hand ink all the time. I was supposed to be going to the Center for the Book this spring and working on the Vandercooks. It was on my list. I was going to come. So it's still on my list and I'll be there. But you can experiment on, you know, the press is really just a roller. And if you don't have a press, you can still experiment. I mean, I've got a Vandercook 01. This is, you know, it's like the old credit card machine. It's very simple. And it's you know, it's all you need to, don't wait if you want to print, just print, you know. So, and if you want to try printing on other things, what you want to be careful about is that you don't ruin your press and that you don't ruin your type if you're using type. You know, you can do on all of these presses, you can do lino cuts. I've done some lino cut backgrounds, but I've also printed on fabric. You know, people ask, can I do t-shirts? And I say, no, you need to silk screen that really if you want it to be right. But of course you can do t-shirts, you know. So this was also part of I did not make the doilies. They are vintage doilies that I then pinned to the wall in the installation as well, using these words. And everything used this sepia tone ink, which I felt kind of made the most sense. And it's all my wood type. But I also I love making paper, but it's difficult to find places to make paper. So I've made paper and I've printed on paper. Behind me, you might see empty. That is printed on handmade paper that I then painted. I did a series, and I was working more on my own paper when I started working with a lot of wood type, and then I've just really wanted to learn to be a printer, you know, and so I've been working more on concentrating the past few years on really being a printer and learning what that takes. I'm not a persnickety printer, you know, you can see who my heroes are, they're poster people. And if you know them, and if you don't know them, Hat Show Print is a wonderful, wonderful, amazing place in Nashville, Tennessee. And Kevin Bradley is in between shops, but he is opening a shop called the Voodoo Rocket in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's loading his stuff in as we speak. So that should be open soon, you know, COVID permitting.
Oh. Mary, we're almost out of time, but you showed me a little teacup earlier today, and I didn't really get to hear what that was, but it's kind of fascinating.
So again, speaking to, so I inherited a picture of my grandmother and my great-grandfather, who was a Quaker, and his daughters, his 5 daughters, and his photograph, he had this emotional, joyful expression about being with his daughters. And so I made these cups for all of them, and they're abaca fiber paper constructed cups, and then they're written on and then dipped in beeswax. And so each of them got a cup, and written around the outside of it was just text having to do with them and my relationship to them, or history I'd heard about them. And then I also did a sugar bowl for my grandmother. And so got words on the inside. So I love text. I want to write. I'm not the best writer, so I tend to write very fragmented poetry.
Okay. Well, if there aren't any last questions, guess we have a couple of seconds. Otherwise, I think we'll wrap it up. So thank you all for coming. Next week, same time. Oh, Amy says, love the cups. Thank you. You know, Shelley says, so gorgeous. Yeah, thanks everyone. Next week is Norman Clayton. He used to be up in the Bay Area and then moved his classic letter press shop to Ojai. So he's not quite local, but an old friend of the center. And so we'll be touring his studio same time next week. So thank you all so much. And we'll see you again, I hope. Thank you, Mary. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, everybody.
Very cool.
Great day.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.